Thanks for staying with us. Let's bring you some more news from the state and the city. A charge-sheeted accused in a 1991 impersonation case taken up by the CBI, Rajshri, has been absconding for 20 years and was arrested today by the CBI. The woman had initially submitted a false ration card and affidavit in the passport application. The woman, who could not be secured during the trial, had landed in the city today and was with a Canadian passport. She was detained for a few hours then and handed over to the investigating agency. She's now been remanded to judicial custody till the 3rd of March. Now, come April, 34 parks within the Chennai Corporation limits will play out music to soothe your ears. In addition to that, self-help group women will be trained in jewellery making, embroidery and jute bag making. Today was the debate hour after the corporation's budget presentation that took place the day before. Corporation school children of class 12 will now sport ties now on as part of their school uniform so as to match up to the outfits of the private school counterparts. As part of the civic body's effort to tackle mosquito menaces in the city, councillors also raised the need to take on the fogging exercises to be held twice a week. And the opposition leader of the Chennai Corporation, Saidai Ravi, emphasized on the need to allocate more funds for the health sector. Here's what he had to say.
இந்த வருடம் சென்னை மாநகர நிதி அறிக்கையில் மேம்பாலங்கள் கட்டப்படவில்லை என்று சொல்லப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. இருக்கின்ற மேம்பாலம் கட்டி முடித்தாலே ஓரளவுக்கு டிராஃபிக் குறையும். இருந்தாலும் வருங்காலத்தில் எந்தெந்த பகுதியில் மேம்பாலம் கட்டப்பட வேண்டும், போக்குவரத்து நெரிசலை குறைப்பதற்காக டிராஃபிக் செல் என்று ஏற்கனவே ஒன்று இருந்தது, அது இப்போது இல்லை என்று சொல்லப்படுகிறது. மீண்டும் அந்த டிராஃபிக் செல் அமைத்து அதன் மூலம் எங்கெங்கு போக்குவரத்து அதிகமாக இருக்கிறது என்பதை கண்டுபிடித்து அதற்கான ஆய்வறிக்கை தர வேண்டும் என்று கேட்டுக்கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம்.
Now, urban development may be a boon to all slum dwellers, but this has led to much more displacement in the city that slum dwellers are barely benefiting from. When our reporter Krishnamurthy spoke to some of these dwellers from Kannagi Nagar and Semancheri, most said the forcible resettlement in the name of development has only led to more despair. On the witness today, Ndtv-Hindu investigates as to how even after 10 years of rehabilitation, the quality of living in some of these areas still leaves a lot to be desired for.
Population of over 1 lakh. More than 15,500 houses in this area. That's Kannagi Nagar and Semancheri for you. These colonies came up as a reciprocal arrangement for people who handed over their homes in slums in the city just so that Chennai could paint a picture of modernization. But what do they get in return?
What you're looking at right now is a newly constructed building. But just take a closer look at the condition of it right now. Newly constructed building with tattered walls and cement falling out of it. And if you could just look over here, newly installed meters have been stolen before even someone could occupy it. So absolutely deplorable conditions over here, and nobody wants to occupy this building right now.
Yes, electricity is also a shocking issue over here. Apart from meters being stolen, residents wonder how their unit consumption of power is calculated since their meter hardly runs.
மீட்டர் பாக்ஸ் 460 ரூபாய் மினிமம் போடுறாங்க. மீட்டர் பாக்ஸ் வந்து எழுதாதே 460 ரூபாய் போடுறாங்க. எப்படி வர 460 ரூபாய்? எங்க வீட்ல எதுவுமே கிடையாது. வெறும் ஒரு லைட் எரியுது, டியூப் லைட் எரியுது, அவ்வளவுதான்.
If that's not enough, crime rates have gone through the roof, with residents claiming that a death a day in the colony is almost inevitable. Poor civic amenities like clogged drains and uncleared garbage are a reality. Human rights organization PUCL submitted a report last month on the pathetic living conditions and slammed the government for its incompetence.
10 வருஷம் ஆச்சு, இன்னமும் வந்து இந்த இஷ்யூஸ் இருக்குது அப்படின்னா அது தமிழக அரசுக்கு தான் வந்து கேவலமான விஷயம். அதை வந்து அட்ரஸ் பண்ண சொல்லி நான் எங்களுடைய டிமாண்டில் வச்சோம். சப்போஸ் எவிக்ஷன் பண்ணாலும் எவிக் பண்ணுற இடத்துல இருந்து ஒரு 3 கிலோமீட்டருக்குள்ளவே காம்ப்ரிஹென்சிவான எல்லா ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸோடையும் இருக்கிற மாதிரி, அடிக்குவேட் ஹவுசிங் இருக்கிற மாதிரி ரீசெட்டில்மெண்ட்டை பண்ணணும் அப்படின்றதும் எங்களுடைய டிமாண்டாக இருந்தது.
Being bombarded from all sides, residents lament at their misfortune after being literally kicked out of the city.
எதுக்காக எங்களை இட்டுன்னு வந்து போடணும் இந்த இடத்துல? இவங்க எதுவும் எங்களை வசதி செய்யாதவங்க என்ன பண்ணியிருக்கணும், எடுத்துன்னு வந்து போட்டுருக்கணும். எல்லா வசதியும் எங்களுக்கு பண்ணி கொடுத்துருக்கணும்.
மண் அது பட்டா கிடையாது, ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. மணல்ல வாழ்ந்துங்க, நாங்கள் பிறந்து வளர்ந்தது. இங்கே கொண்டாந்து எங்களை ஏன் இவ்வளோ கஷ்டத்தை துன்பத்தை கொடுக்குறாங்கன்னு எங்களுக்கே தெரியல.
With Kanagi-Nagar and Semancheri being plagued by so many problems, the real question is, has the government learnt any lesson from it? With more than 10,000 houses still coming up in the area, the residents say that their worries are far from being over. In Chennai, this is Krishnamurthy for Ndtv-Hindu.
On to some national news now. The controversial ISRO-Davis S-band deal was cancelled today by the Cabinet Committee on Security. This comes a day after Prime Minister Manmohan Singh strongly rejected any suggestions that his office continued talks with Davis on its controversial deal with Antrix for lease of S-band spectrum after the Space Commission decided to scrap it. Antrix Corporation, ISRO's commercial arm, had in fact signed a contract with Davis Multimedia in the January of 2005 for lease of 90% transponders in 2 satellites to be built by ISRO. Bundled into the deal was 70 megahertz of S-band spectrum, which was priced at 1,000 crore rupees. Meanwhile, Davis has now threatened legal action. In a statement, they've said, and I quote, ISRO-Davis deal is legally binding. The contract was not cancelled, annulled or terminated by Davis itself. They expect the government to fulfill obligations under the deal or will take legal steps to protect the rights, unquote. In fact, yesterday, Dr. Singh had said and defended the Prime Minister's office, saying that he never once did they try to dilute a decision taken by the Department of Space to annul the deal. Well, in some more national news, Orissa's assembly today witnessed some unruly scenes with the opposition MLAs demanding government action for the release of an IAS officer kidnapped by Maoists. The ultras kidnapped a Malkangiri district collector, Vinil Krishna, while he was returning from an interaction program in the Gumma block in the tribal-dominated district. This is the first time Maoists have kidnapped an IAS officer, indicating a possible change of strategy to now target senior government officers. The Orissa Chief Secretary has said he has received a handwritten note from the IAS officer after he was kidnapped, along with an ultimatum of 48 hours for the release of the collector. The Maoists are demanding that central forces be withdrawn from Malkangiri. Up ahead on the headlines now, it's a mixed bag for the weekend on the silver screen. If you are a movie buff, you're sure to be spoiled for choice.